Hi guys, I'm Coach Mark, Crossfit 77, and today I'm going to give you 3 cues as to how to hit a longer drive, because who doesn't want to hit the golf ball farther? Okay, so first thing, the most important thing is the setup, right? Jack Nicklaus once said, you can have a decent golf swing and hit the ball really accurate. You could have a phenomenal golf swing and have a terrible result. It's all based on alignment. If you do not align to the target properly, it doesn't matter how good your swing is, the ball is not going to go where it's intended to go. So, a really good way to do this, how I was taught, is when you approach the ball, I want you to put the tee into the ground, okay? You're gonna put the ball into the ground, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna walk behind the ball, okay? So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna look down my target line, all right? I'm gonna see a spot and say, okay, the flag or the fairway is a little bit to the left, okay? So I'm gonna come here, okay, good. So from there, I'm gonna draw an imaginary line with my eyes all the way back to the ball, okay? So once I do that, I'm gonna pick a spot, maybe 2 feet in front of my ball, right? That's about here is what I want to do. The idea is to square the club head or the club face to this spot. If it's square here, chances are it's going to be square to the target, or your margin for error is going to be greatly reduced, because that's the big problem with people who slice and hook the ball, is they probably have a decent swing, but they align improperly. So I'm drawing a line. Okay, I see my spot. There's my spot in front of the ball. I'm going to walk up, and all I'm going to do for here is I'm going to make sure my club face is square to that target, right? So notice, if you could see, the arrow of my club face is pointing down at that target line, right? If I point it here and I'm aiming this way, I'm gonna have a cross, and chances are I'm gonna pull this across, or if I come in late with an open face, I'm gonna slice it. So the idea is you wanna make that sure, if that club face is square to here, chances are it's square all the way down the line, okay? That's step number 1. We have our club head square, so now what we're gonna do is we wanna make sure our feet are square. This is very important. So what you want to do is your club head and your feet, I want you to imagine railroad tracks. Your club head is one track, your feet are another. So if I'm going to hit this ball straight down the middle, I'm going to look down, I see my spot in front of the ball, my club face is square, now I want my feet square. So I'm going to pull this PVC pipe, and you can lay another club down along your feet line and do the same thing. So now, if I'm here, my club face is square, my feet is square. A lot of people who tend to slice will have an open stance. So notice my one foot is here, my front foot is back here, right? This is gonna lead to a slice, or if you're flipping with your hands, a snap hook. So you don't want this. At the same time, people who tend to overly hook the ball, their stance will look like this. Their front foot's here, their back foot's back here. This is bad alignment, so my club face is here, but my hips are here. So that ball is not gonna go straight. I'm gonna put some sort of move on that ball depending on how my hands react, right? It's either gonna be a snap hook or a bad slice. But it's gonna be very hard for me to hit this ball consistently straight if I am not square to the target. So the idea is, like I said, take it at the range, lay a club down parallel to the ball. I see my feet, my toes are right up against the pipe. My club head is square, so I know as long as my swing mechanics are good, chances are this is gonna go in the fairway. Maybe a couple yards left to center, right to center, but this is my best chance at hitting the ball straight. All right, so we've got our feet parallel and our club face parallel. Next, most important, ball position, right? So the idea with the driver is you wanna hit this ball, you want the driver to be coming up on the upsweep, okay? So you don't wanna chop down on the ball. So ideal ball position is usually right inside my front heel, okay? If I set the ball too far back in my stance, it's gonna cause a descending blow. I'm gonna pop this ball up, put backspin on it, and lose a tremendous amount of distance, okay? So what I want is that ball just about the front heel, maybe slightly inside, right? This ensures with a good turn, as I come in, I'm coming up on the ball, and I'm gonna catch this ball on the rise, right? So walk on ball position, that's super important. Another problem with people who set the ball too far back in their stance is they collapse their arms inside, and we'll get into that in a second, right? You don't want this. Power in a golf swing comes from the width of your swing arc, right? The wider you can get this club, the more speed you can generate. Choppy swing, it's a very short arc. Just think of the physics and the mechanics behind it, right? The wider I can get my arc, the more club head speed I can generate. Okay, so we've got our setup, everything's square, ball position's good. So one of the biggest keys in distance is the width of your swing arc, right? So just think about the mechanics. The wider I bring this club out, right? If I can bring it up nice and wide, I can generate a tremendous amount of club head speed once I release my hips, right? This club will whip through the air and generate all the force I need, okay? So the idea is, I want you to think about, I'm gonna show you a drill that's really good for this. So you're gonna have a ball, you're gonna have your tee here, you're gonna have your ball right behind it. So what I want you to do is your first move is push the ball back, okay? So that does two things. One, it keeps the club low to the ground, right? So for you people who kind of have choppy swings, who pick up the club face and are very wristy, that's gonna eliminate that. The other thing it's gonna do is gonna increase the width of your arc, right? So this drill, just do 5 of these and then hit a ball, right? So get used to pushing that ball back, keeping the club low and slow. So I'm gonna push it back, wind up behind the ball. Now I'm locked and loaded. So notice my shoulders are at about 90 degrees. My hips are about 30 degrees. This is where all of the power comes from. So, one thing about power, okay? We're a CrossFit gym, but as any golfer out there knows, hitting a golf ball is not about strength, right? There are plenty of guys on tour who could hit the ball 9 miles, who drink beer, who smoke. Look at John Daly, Beef. There's a bunch of guys like this, right? It's not about how big your muscles are. It's about how flexible and mobile you are. John Daly is a very mobile guy, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over a couple of mobility drills you can do to help get that club into position. For you who have tight shoulders or a tight thoracic spine, and you just, oh geez, I can't get back here, you're gonna have a very difficult time hitting the golf ball far. So we're gonna give you a couple of drills you can do to work on your mobility. If you can get that club in a better position and get a little more turn radius, you're gonna hit the ball exponentially farther, okay? So let's work on that. So here's one of the drills you can do to help with the mobility, especially in the T-spine area. This is called a bretzel. Think pretzel, but with a B, okay? So Paul here is gonna get into the position. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna cross his right leg over his left. He's gonna use the same arm to grab the same knee, clamp it up nice and high, and he's using the trailing arm to grab the foot. So the idea here is, notice his knees, both knees are on the ground here, okay? So now the idea is he's gonna get his trailing shoulder down to the ground, okay? Try and get down and open that up. This is difficult, right, but you can work into this as much as you can. Come out of it, breathe, take nice deep breaths, inhale, exhale back, all right? The idea is to try, you'll feel this open and good stretch, okay? Knees to the ground, elbows up, and most importantly, try and drive that trailing shoulder to the ground. That's where you're gonna feel it the most. Okay, you can rotate back and forth, do about 5 to 7 of these with about a 3-second pause, 4-second pause on the bottom, and come back out of it. Okay, this next one is called the thread the needle. So what Paul's gonna do is he's gonna reach his right arm, he's gonna reach up, open up his T-spine, reach up as far as he can, dive through, reach down, get that shoulder down to the ground, okay? Gonna hold for a second, two, gonna come back up, rotate up, and then drive back down. Good. So you can do these 10 per side after you're doing the bretzel, before you're doing the bretzel, but it's a good combination to really try and get some mobility in that upper body. So here's the third one you can do, is the arm sweeps, arm circles. So you're gonna line your side, knees up at about 90 degrees. You can take your arm, you're gonna trace a big arc up and around your head, try and keep that hand to the ground, open up. Follow it around, track it, good. Come back around, open to your side, good. Nice control, notice he's not going fast, he's doing this at nice, good tempo, getting the full range of motion, really trying to keep as low as you possibly can. All right, if you have mobility issues, just try and work a little bit lower with each pass. Okay, good thing to do is do 10 on one side, rest about 30 seconds, do 10 on the other side. Last thing in the swing, right? You want long distance, we've got the nice swing on coming back, but we don't want to sabotage it by shortening a swing on the follow through, right? This is a lot of people wind up pinning their arm to the side and chicken winging this ball, right? Chicken winging the club. Now I'm instead of here, I'm here. So a really good drill to practice extension is I'm gonna have my tee here. I'm gonna make sure my alignment is here, but notice I have a ball about maybe 10 inches in front, okay? So the idea is I'm gonna line up here, walk back, and my goal is with this alignment to hit this ball, okay? I'm not changing my stance at all. What this is gonna force me to do is to extend and reach for the ball. This is harder than it looks. Don't be surprised if you top the first 10 to 20, but the idea is to line up to the tee, okay? But then I want you to hit this ball, okay? You could try this with irons. especially mid-irons, 5, 6, 7 irons. It's a great drill to do to practice extension through the ball. All right, guys, so hope you enjoyed the video. Just remember, the key is accuracy, so make sure your alignment is good. And remember, it's not about the size of your muscles, right? It's about flexibility and mobility. Come check us out at CrossFit 77 for some tips and drills. Do the ones that I posted. That'll help you increase your mobility. If you get the club in a better position, get a little more turn, a little more width in your swing arc, I guarantee you'll hit the ball further. Thanks.